Hi friends, and welcome back to my channel. My name is Kathleen. In today's video, I wanted to go ahead and share with you guys the incredible reading month that I had during the month of February. I read a total of 9 books. The last time I ever read this much was May of last year, which I also read 9 books, and it was by far my best reading month ever, and I've been trying to beat it ever since, and last month I came pretty close. I just been enjoying reading so much that I just been consuming books, and I am so proud of myself for reading as much as I am. And it's obviously, of course, not a competition, but I want to be able to read more and more and more just because I love consuming all of these stories. I mean, that's why we're readers, right? So let's go ahead and get started with my incredible February reading wrap up, starting with the graphic novel that I read during the month of February. And so the graphic novel that I read during the month of February was Saga Volume 6. Really been enjoying this series. I can't talk too much about what Volume 6 follows because I don't want to spoil for those of you who have not started the series. It is incredible. It is odd and it is weird. It is very sci-fi, but it has an important message to it. It's all about racism and prejudice and overcoming those, and it's so good. I really enjoyed it. If you guys have not yet started on the series, also highly recommend it because it is entertaining, and again, it has that important message behind it. Alright, so then getting to the actual books, the first book that I read during the month of February was Unearthed by Amy Kaufman and Megan Spooner. So this was the Biblio Squad's book pick of the month for the month of January, and I really enjoyed this book. Basically, there's this ancient alien civilization that sends a message out to Earth, and Earth wants to explore what's within this message, but then there's kind of like a hidden message within the message that says for Earthlings to stay away from where this message is coming from, but of course Earth people don't ever listen, so they go and explore. And so it's this really cool sci-fi adventure set on another planet. We have our 2 main characters, and they're solving puzzles that the aliens left behind in order to uncover what they really meant by the message that they originally sent to the humans. A majority of this book is our 2 main characters solving these puzzles. I thought the puzzles were really boring, and I thought the puzzles were kind of convenient in some ways. I can't go into too much detail because I don't want to spoil, but I did enjoy the book nonetheless. I gave this book 4 stars, and I would highly recommend it. It wasn't that long at all, and I read it pretty quickly. And then the next book that I read during the month of February was a book that I picked up on a whim, and it is Every Day by David Levithan. So I've had this book for a very long time. It's about this soul that wakes up in a different body every day, and he wakes up in the body of Justin, and Justin has this girlfriend named Rhiannon, and he kind of falls in love with Rhiannon in that one day. And I actually ended up really enjoying this book. The reason why I picked up this book is because the movie came out. It's currently in theaters, and I'm actually going to see the movie tomorrow. I'm really excited. I really connected with the character of A. A is the soul that changes bodies every day. I really felt for A. I thought that it being in a situation, I can't imagine having to change bodies every day, not being able to get attached to anyone because it doesn't matter. At the end of the day, you're never gonna see them again because you're gonna be in a different body the next day. So I really connected with A. I really felt for A's situation and his plight. The only issue I had with this book was the ending. I felt the ending was very lacking. The story really built up for the ending to be very blah. I gave this book 4 stars. And then the next book that I read was my wrapped book for the month of February. So in case you are new to my channel, you don't know what it is, I took 14 books that have been on my TBR, the longest. They've been sitting on my shelves and I haven't read them yet, and I wrapped them, and every month I picked one wrapped book and I read it for that month. And so Hit by Delilah S. Dawson was my wrapped book for the month of February, and I've had this book for so long. It was back when I had my dystopian kick. I read so much dystopian, and this book follows a world where there's this credit card company. It's a very popular credit card, everybody has it, but no one read the fine print. And of course, who the heck reads the fine print? No one ever does. But in the fine print says that if you default on your debt on a credit card, the company has the legal right to make you an indentured servant to them. And not only just a servant, an indentured assassin. So our main character, her mother defaults on her debt to this credit card company, and they say you either forfeit your life or you can go and become an indentured assassin to them. And what an indentured assassin does is basically you go to other people who have defaulted on their credit card and you give them the same choice. I either take your life or you can choose to become an indentured servant to the credit card company. So our main character, she is the daughter of the woman who defaulted on her credit card, and she takes her mother's place. And I thought the premise of the book sounded really interesting, and I love this cover. I think it's such a cool cover. It really is. But the story, while it was fun, it was also very unrealistic. And one of my biggest things about dystopians that I really love is that when they make the dystopia seem very real. One of my favorite dystopians of all time is the Unwind dystology by Neil Shusterman. Again, he makes us believe that this world could become a real thing. So that's what I love about dystopians. That's what I was expecting going to this book, but it wasn't. It really was unrealistic. What kind of credit card company hires teenagers to go do their dirty work for them? And also, the love in this book was just really weird. It was very insta-lovey. The first time he came after her was for revenge, and then he gets distracted by his attractiveness towards her. It was just really weird. I apologize if there are spoilers. Regardless, if you put the romance aside, even though it does take a big part of the book, it's actually okay. I gave this book 3 stars, and I'm not gonna continue on with the story. It wasn't good enough for me to continue the series. Alright, and then the next book that I read during the month of February is a book that's been causing a little bit of a controversy in the booktube world, and that is Zenith, the first book in the Andromeda saga by Sasha Alsberg and Lindsay Cummings. So I went into this book with very low expectations because I had been seeing a lot of mixed to negative reviews on this book, and I ended up enjoying this book. I gave this book 4 stars, but honestly it's hovering around a 3.5 to 4 star rating. Regardless, I enjoyed it. I enjoyed the overall plot of the book. I thought it was entertaining and exhilarating and fun. Now, I do agree with what some people are saying in regards to, first off, the writing. I thought the writing was very average. Also, too many characters, too many perspectives. It took me a while to remember who was who. Every chapter is pretty much a different character. We read from the perspective of pretty much every character and side character in this story. And one thing that annoyed me to no ending is the fact that every chapter is somebody's perspective, but even within every chapter it changed perspectives, and I was really annoyed and really confused. So all the tabs that I have were just some examples of when the perspective changed mid-chapter. And another thing that I have to complain about this book is that I do agree when people say that Andromeda is an exact carbon copy of Selena Sardothian from the Throne of Glass series. Now, I am not a fan of Selena Sardothian. I don't like her, but again, I don't think it was as bad as everyone said it was. If you still haven't read this book and you want to, go into this book with low expectations, because I feel like if you go into this book with too high expectations like a lot of people did, then you might be really disappointed with the book. Alright, and then the next book that I read was one that I absolutely loved, and it was Simon versus the Homo Sapiens Agenda by Becky Albertalli. So I was not planning on reading this book, at least not for a while. However, my good friend Chloe from the Brunette Bibliophile, she recently read this book and she absolutely loved it, and she read it because the movie is coming out, and it's coming out next week. I'm so excited. So I decided, I was like, you know what, I'm in the mood for a good contemporary. So I was originally going to read The Upside of Unrequited by Becky Albertalli, but because Chloe kept raving about Simon, I decided to go ahead and pick up Simon versus the Homo Sapiens Agenda instead, and I loved it. I read this book in like 2 days because it was just so good. I love Simon. He is the most precious baby ever. I loved him and I wanted to cuddle him and I wanted to tell him that everything was gonna be okay. I gave this book 5 stars, of course. It was so good. It was everything that everyone tells you that's about this book is true. It's such a fun, light-hearted contemporary, and you really fall in love with the characters. And now I just gotta see the movie next week and I'm so excited about it. Alright, and so the next book that I read is The Savage Song, and the reason why I picked up this book is because the sequel was nominated for the YA BookTube Awards, The Dark Duet. Obviously I need to read the first book before I read the second book, and I loved this book so much. And so it is about this world that has become so dark that monsters started spouting out of people's violence and dark ways kind of thing. And our main character, August, he is a monster. So he was born out of someone's dark deeds, someone's violence. He is a special type of monster. He's a rare type, but he's also someone who wished he wasn't a monster. All he wants to do is be a human being, because there's so much prejudice against monsters, obviously, and he just doesn't feel like he's like that. He doesn't have a monster nature, which goes against his nature in the first place. And then the other main character is Kate, and Kate is a human being, and her father, he either makes monsters his slaves or he kills monsters. So what she set out to do is to be as ruthless as her dad, to be as ruthless towards monsters as her dad, and they kind of cross paths. Their relationship is one of the most beautiful relationships I have read in a while. I like the progression of their friendship towards really becoming understanding of each other. There's no romance necessarily, but you can see it there. It's a kind of like a slow burn romance, because you can see the potential there where they really start to understand each other, and Kate kind of gets rid of her prejudice towards monsters and she starts seeing August differently. She starts seeing August not as a monster, something that causes destruction, but something that is actually someone with a soul. And that is one of the reasons, one of the biggest reasons why I love this book, the natural progression of their relationship. And I thought it was really beautiful, and I thought it was really well done. Of course, I gave this book 5 stars because it was very deserving of 5 stars. And the next book that I read during the month of February, no, we are not done yet, is Harry Potter and the Chamber of Secrets by J.K. Rowling, and this is the illustrated edition. Again, if you're new to my channel, I decided to reread the Harry Potter series this year because it's been many years since I have, and I've been reading the illustrated editions because the first 3 books are out in illustrated editions. I have been loving just diving back into the world. Of course, I gave this book 5 stars. We all know what this book is about. First book kind of gives you a setup of what the world is like, but every book just builds and builds, and the illustrations are so beautiful. I feel like I'm being more immersed in the story. They build upon each other, and I just love it. And then the final book that I read during the month of February was Nil by Lynn Matson. So this was my January wrapped book. I didn't get to read it in January, and it was okay. I gave this book 3 stars. And this book is about this girl named Charlie, and she finds herself on this island, and she's naked, she's alone, she has no idea what's going on, and she eventually finds other people, and they explain to her that this island is called the Island of Nil. They don't know how they got there. They have no idea how this island came about, the history behind it. All they know is that they have exactly 1 year, 365 days to escape Nil, and if you don't escape within a year, the island kills you. Charlie gets there, she meets all these other kids who are trying to get off this island, and she meets a guy and she becomes connected with him. She becomes romantically involved with him. I thought that the island aspects of the story was fun. The reason why I rated this book 3 stars is that the romance really takes a driver's seat into the story, and the romance was very insta-lovey, and it was cringy and really awkward, and I couldn't see past the romance in this book, and it just wasn't well done. And the love interest does something that I consider incredibly stupid at the end, like super stupid, and I can't fathom why he would do that, and it makes me angry just thinking about it. But again, I did love some of the aspects of the book, the mystery behind Nil and having to escape the island. I thought those were fun. I will not be continuing on with the series. This is a trilogy, so there's 2 other books in the series. And there you go, guys. That is my very long February wrap up. I can't believe I read 9 books. I'm so proud of myself. I'm hoping to do the same this month. Let me know down in the comments below how you did in the month of February reading wise, because I would really love to know. Anyway guys, thank you all so much for watching. I really hope you enjoyed this video. Please give it a like if you did, and subscribe to my channel if you're not already. All of my social medias are linked down below, including Twitter, Instagram, and Goodreads if you'd like to follow me. I hope to see you guys on my next video. Have a good day guys, and keep reading. Bye.